For decades, Voyager 1 has been wandering in the deep void beyond our solar system, silently transmitting data from the edge of the known universe, like a ghost ship launched by human hands and forgotten by most. But recently, a group of researchers analyzed one of the old image series using the latest generation of artificial intelligence, expecting nothing special, but simply hoping to improve the old data with modern technology. The result was not just a clearer image, but a real discovery. There was something in the image that wasn't there before, a pattern that couldn't be explained by an error or artifact, something that responded, something that confirmed what many had feared for decades, that Voyager 1 might not be alone out there in space. And even more disturbing, it may have already been spotted. When Voyager 1 crossed into interstellar space in 2012, it was one of the most historic moments in human history. It entered a region completely unknown to our instruments and our understanding. For years, the data seemed normal. Steady levels of cosmic radiation, stable plasma readings, nothing visually unusual. But new analysis by quantum AI has revealed a faint, repeating formation, captured in several images taken between 2012 and 2015. It wasn't a smudge, a lens flare, or digital interference. It was a symmetrical, grid-like structure, barely visible to the naked eye, but unmistakable once AI connected the patterns and synchronized them across multiple dated images. What surprised the researchers most was that the structure seemed to maintain a constant position relative to the Voyager's movement, which meant that it was either moving with the spacecraft or was fixed in space in some way that contradicted our entire modern understanding of interstellar mechanics. At first, scientists thought the pattern was just a strange interference, a natural effect of shooting at a great distance. But then they noticed something even more disturbing. Every time Voyager turned on its instruments to scan a specific area, the anomaly shifted. Not randomly, but rhythmically. The structure seemed slightly reoriented, as if it were responding to the observation itself. It wasn't just there, it was looking back. Quantum AI detected correlations between the scanning frequencies and the reorientation of the formation, revealing micro-changes in symmetry that almost perfectly matched the Voyager's telemetry signals. The implications were frightening, as this behavior reflected a well-known principle in quantum mechanics, the observer effect, where the act of measuring a system changes its state. But Voyager wasn't observing quantum particles. It was scanning vast distances, collecting data on a kilometer scale. The consistent and repetitive response of the anomaly suggested something completely different. Either we had stumbled upon some kind of cosmic mirror, or we had activated something designed to respond. It wasn't long before the geometry of the anomaly began to reveal something more than just structure. The AI began to decipher the spatial relationships between the grid points, revealing numerical sequences that were not just curious, but deliberate. Patterns of prime numbers began to emerge, proportions reminiscent of Fibonacci spirals, and even harmonics matching known physical constants. The deeper the analysis, the clearer it became that this was not random noise or an image compression glitch. These were the same mathematical signatures that humanity had included in the Voyager Golden Record. Our interstellar greeting, encoded in sound, image, and mathematics. This discovery was not only symbolic, it was statistically impossible for it to occur by chance. If the anomaly returned the same universal patterns, it meant one thing. Somewhere out there in space, something had not only received our signal, but had also formed a response. And it did so not with words, but in the language of space itself, mathematics. Faced with something that did not fit into any of the known physical models, the project scientists put forward 3 working theories, each more disturbing than the last. The first suggested that the anomaly could be a passive remnant of an ancient galactic structure, a kind of gravitational grid embedded in space-time and invisible until now. The second suggested that the anomaly could be the result of a communication system of some advanced civilization, a beacon that responds only when activated by intelligent signals, such as those from Voyager. But it was the third theory that silenced everyone. It suggested that the anomaly was neither a structure nor a device, but a presence, a form of conscious observation so far beyond our understanding that it does not even resemble life as we know it. According to this hypothesis, Voyager 1 did not encounter an artifact, but crossed a field of consciousness that existed there long before us, and may have just noticed that we had finally looked at it. After discovering the anomaly, the team began compiling an internal report that was never intended for public release. According to someone who read the draft, the tone of the document was not scientific or curious, but alarming. What disturbed them most was not just the structure and patterns, it was the silence. In several sequences analyzed by quantum AI, there were unexpected gaps, areas where the Voyager instruments should have picked up background radiation, cosmic dust, or infrared interference. But they picked up nothing. Not emptiness, not a faint signal. Nothing. Complete absence. These dead zones appeared only in images where the anomaly was present, suggesting that something in the object or entity was interfering with or even absorbing the surrounding radiation. It was as if space had folded in on itself, as if there was something there that was not only invisible to us, but also inaccessible to any interaction. These zones were, in essence, immeasurable, and that, more than any pattern, frightened the analysts. The team didn't stop with Voyager 1. They began reviewing archived data from other missions, Hubble, Spitzer, even radio observations from ground-based telescopes. What they found was even more disturbing. Faint echoes of the same geometric pattern, albeit dimmer and more scattered, appeared in data sets from completely different areas of the sky. Some were lost in the noise. Others had been discarded decades ago as errors or calibration inaccuracies. But when processed with the same quantum AI filters, the pattern reappeared. Weaker, fragmented, but undeniably connected. This suggested that the phenomenon was not limited to the area through which Voyager 1 flew. It was more extensive, distributed, possibly interconnected, representing a network in interstellar space, a cosmic infrastructure consisting not of matter, but of pattern, of presence. This was no longer a single case. It was a structure or consciousness woven into the very fabric of the galaxy, something that had always been there, invisible until we learned to listen. As data accumulated, a new question arose that divided the team. Was the anomaly a form of conscious intelligence, something capable of intention and perception? Or was it something more ancient, more primitive, perhaps a kind of living code? One theory suggests that it is not an artificial structure in the traditional sense, but a self-replicating algorithm of space-time, something that does not exist within the universe, but is part of its operating system, a built-in observer, an ancient mechanism that is activated only when a signal reaches a certain threshold, like the primary sequences on the Voyager Golden Disk. From this point of view, the anomaly is not intelligent like us, but it responds. It adapts. It recognizes structure and returns structure. It reflects our presence, as if to say, "I see you." And if that's true, then Voyager 1 didn't find life. It found a mirror. Not a mirror of our biology, but a mirror of our intentions, our curiosity, our need to go further. As the news quietly spread through academic channels, an anxious debate erupted. Some argued that the data should be published, peer-reviewed, and disseminated in the interest of scientific transparency. Others insisted that revealing this information now, especially amid such uncertainty, could cause misinformation, panic, or worse, lead to its complete rejection as pseudoscience. Some even questioned whether humanity was ready for such a revelation. After all, if the anomaly is real and truly a form of communication or acknowledgement, then its implications go beyond physics or astronomy. It touches on something more ancient, something spiritual, philosophical, the very fabric of what we believe ourselves to be. If Voyager has detected something, then the universe is not empty. It is not silent. It is not void. It is a stage, and someone, or something, has just opened the curtain and turned to face the audience. For decades, Voyager 1 has been silently sailing through space, bearing witness to infinity, carrying our hopes, carrying a golden disk with dreams, numbers, and greetings. We sent it to say, "We exist," to anyone who could hear us. And now, after so many years, it is possible that something has heard us. This anomaly, this impossible pattern hidden in the depths of space, is not just a curiosity or a glitch. It is a response, not in words, not in light, but in something much more universal: recognition. Whether it is intelligence as we understand it, or something more ancient, encoded in the very bones of the cosmos, we do not know. But one thing we are certain of: Voyager did not just cross interstellar space, it crossed into consciousness. And that changes everything. Because if something responded, then we are not alone. And perhaps we never were. Now the question is not whether we are being watched, but why. And perhaps more importantly, what comes next? Tell us in the comments. Do you think Voyager made contact? Was it just a cosmic coincidence? Or the first quiet step toward a much larger conversation? And if this story made you pause, stirred deep emotions, or simply made you look at the stars differently tonight, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because maybe Voyager 1 is out there in space, alone, but maybe not so alone anymore.